Alright, so we're out here at the, this is a Silverado cab, the LTZ, and as you can see, there's not much left. I don't think I showed a video of the inside before, but you'll see in a second. So this was a LTZ cab. It had the tan leather, the console, the backup camera. I think I may have mentioned that in the last video. And but it has a sunroof, and I do not like sunroofs. So the thought process was, what's can I do? That truck over there is already together, running, driving truck, you know. But I do like this interior better. And which way would be easier? Would it be easier to hang the black doors back on here on this cab, put the black bed back on it, and then put the front clip on it and put the drivetrain back in it, and go from there? So I mean, it was a tough situation, or tough decision, I guess. But like I say, I really don't like sunroofs, and then the other part with having to swap the drivetrains, and I mean, that would have been a lot of work and a lot of swapping. But I thought, then I get to this, and so after I made the video to these trucks, I came out here, and the front seats were already out, and the door panels were already off, all the doors. I don't know why he put the silver doors on, switched the doors, because, you know, now you've got the black and silver on both trucks. And initially I was thinking, you know, well, I'll just have the cab painted black on the other truck, but then, you know, you got the door jambs, and then it's hard to overcome, you know, the silver part. So I made the decision to pull this interior and transport it into the truck over there. And let me tell you, this is not for the faint of heart. This took hours and hours and hours. So after I made the last video, I gutted this one. I had everything but the dash out of it, and by that evening, the next morning, I think I got up at 5:30 and started gutting the other truck. And the dash was a big thing, because that's what I hate about these trucks, 7 to 13 trucks, is the dash and how horrible the plastic is. I don't know what kind of plastic GM used, but it was absolutely horrible. I mean, it would just, you know, you touch it, and the whole thing would just explode, and it was just a chain reaction, and just everything was broken, and you're just like, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, it's there's just nothing you can do about it. So I left the dash in there, and then had all this out. So I started gutting the other truck, got the dash out of it, and then I had to clean the carpet and clean the interior from this one before putting it back in there, which I didn't clean everything just because of the time crunch. So when I got the dash out of this one, I noted the pedal box was different. The whole brake pedal and accelerator pedal box and everything was different. Then the HVAC box was different, which I figured that was going to be the case. And then the wiring, where it comes through right here, so I pulled that out from the fuse box. Every piece of wiring out of here got pulled out and transferred to the other truck. Then when I got to the door panels, the cables for the inside door handle is in a different location on the doors. So the basic door panels have a shorter cable that stops about here, because it's got a pull handle here. But then on the other door panels, it's up here. So I had to come out here, take the latches out, and disassemble the cable part, and get the longer cables from these doors, which apparently he had already done, to use the other door panels on that truck. So then the wiring harnesses in the door were different, of course, because the switches and all were different. But now, now, seeing it looks like he took something, that window track out on this door. So now I'm going to take the silver doors off and put them back on the silver cab, so I don't have to worry about the door jambs and all that not matching, except for this door. That door has damage on the front, and so I'm not going to use that door, but all the three other silver doors I'm going to put back on the silver cab, and then I'm going to put the silver bed back on there. Now I think the reason he swapped the beds was because this flare right here is different between the two beds, the GMC and the Silverado. So the Silverado has a more pronounced flare, and then this is just a more subtle flare, I guess. But so you know, I'd like to get as much silver as I can back on the truck, and then that won't leave as much to be painted. The other thing I could do would be to take the silver doors and put them on there, and then just paint the front clip silver and then the bed silver. That might be the path of least resistance, because I would like to put a GMC front end on it to match the flares on here, but finding a GMC front end that's complete and silver, well, if I could find one that was silver, that'd be perfect. But the chances of that, probably the only ones I'd be able to find would be in California, and then as soon as I buy it, there'll be one 5 miles from the house. That's just how it goes. So but so it's pedal box, the HVAC, all the wiring from the through the firewall, everything under here was different. The door wiring harnesses. Now I will say I did not do the harnesses that go well, that goes to there's the fuse box down here. So these all look the same and plugged in, and then this is, I don't think anything plugs into that because I couldn't find anything to plug into it on the other truck. And then this, I assume all this goes up for the sunroof and for the controls up there. I don't know how GM's wiring harness is for that, because like I say, the plugs and all look the same, the wire counts and all. So I kind of took a gamble on that because I didn't want to pull this headliner out. So that would have been a lot more work. So I do know that the rear view mirror, it has the same amount of wires in it, so I don't know. I hope it works. I hope it works. Let's just say that. So, but yeah, I mean, stripping this down didn't take that long. But then when I started reassembly, sadly, I think I probably had like 20 hours. Like Saturday, I probably had 15 hours doing everything, pulling this interior, and then when I got to it, I just had the dash laying in here and the carpet in, and then yesterday was Mother's Day, so we had church all day and had to go see my mom and my parents and all that, and then go to church. And then after church, I wanted my wife to help me put the dash up in here, get it in the hole so I could hook the steering back up and have it where I could move it out of the shop. So I kind of got a little carried away and got it all back together, except that door panel, missing the switch part, and then the piece on the door handle where the cable attaches from the back. I guess somebody didn't know how to take it off and broke it, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But coincidentally, that's the door that's staying on the truck, so and all the other door panels are on and complete, so that kind of that kind of sucks. And then this is why I hate these dashes. Like as soon as I touched it, like all this just shattered. And I mean, it's just the flimsiest, most horrible plastic. That's why I hate these trucks. The dashes, the door anti-close things squeak and pop and bang. The exterior door handles absolutely suck, because the this one's probably already about done it, but the pieces in here that have the nut certs that hold the screws from the back to hold it together, because of all the force on it, and this being plastic, that the whole handle just breaks off in your hand. I mean, these, my Denali was like that, and these are horrible design. So that's why I hate these trucks. I hate 7 to 13, like I say, because I mean, look at that. I mean, I'm gonna have to get another dash. I mean, then it's, you know, I hope the dash ain't cracked. And, you know, and it wasn't this bad, but I mean, as soon as you touch it, you know, you're trying to take it out of one truck and carry it over and put it in another. I mean, it ain't gonna make it. But so here's the thing we can all get a good laugh on. So I got it all together, and then was gonna move it out of the shop because I got the long bed truck in here. And then with this thing, the wheelbase on this is like a foot longer than the OBS truck. So I put the fuse panel under the hood, plugged it all back in, and I looked at the fuses, the fuse box covers, and they all looked the same. So you got to pull this out and undo all the wires that go in through there. Now I've got to change the wiring harness that goes all the way to the back, because it's different because of the backup camera. So I just got done pulling it out of the other truck, and then I had to pull the cab bolts out to pick the cab up to get the wiring harness underneath it, between the cab mount and the cab, to get the wiring harness out. And then I had to pick the bed up to unhook it from the fuel pumps and all that. So that's going to be exciting. So I get it all back together, you know, because I wanted to get it out of the shop so I could close my shop door. Hook the battery up and everything. The headlights turned on, the dash and radio and all turned on. Go to start it, nothing. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. All that work. I did all that work, and now it doesn't run. So, but it looks amazing. I mean, you got to admit, it does look great. So I'm thinking that the battery's dead, because it sounded like the relay was clicking, but it would not engage the starter and turn over. So I don't see how it could be. I don't know if it's communication where the truck doesn't know what's going on, because I mean, it is the whole wiring harness from the fuse box. Everything in the cab is from that truck. Everything plugged in. Like I say, I think the fuse boxes are the same. There might be a fuse or two, you know, that this one didn't have a fuse, and it needs a fuse. But I put them all side by side and looked at them, and it looked like, you know, I went through and counted each section to see, you know, if there was a fuse there for everything, and looked at especially the empty spaces to make sure, you know, if I wasn't, something didn't need to be where it was, and now it's not. But I think the fuse boxes under the hood are the same. Like I say, I'm thinking that the battery's dead, just because I think he said something about that the battery would go dead after a couple days. So I'm hoping that's the case. I got it in there on charge, and I'm just gonna be absolutely sick if it doesn't crank up. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know if the BCM needs to be reprogrammed, if you can do that. I don't know, but like I say, when I turned the key, I heard it sounded like it was the relay. I think it's that one. I think that relay is the starter relay. It sounded like it was clicking, like it was trying to crank, but the radio and all that stuff inside the truck worked, which was awesome. I guess, you know, but cranking up and running would have been a whole lot better. So anyway, that's where I'm at with it. I mean, it looks great. I mean, that looks so much better. This is like how my Denali was. I mean, these aren't my favorite interiors because of what I mentioned, but like I say, I'll put the silver doors back on the silver cab, and then you can see that the flare is just so much wider and more pronounced on the Chevrolet. So like I say, I'd like to put it back as a GMC, but you know, I just see what I can find, hopefully local. I mean, I don't mind driving a couple hours to get, you know, if I could find a silver one, you know, 3 or 4 hours away, I mean, that's not a problem, because otherwise I got to deal with, you know, finding somebody to paint it and paint stuff. I don't like dealing with painting body guys and painting body in general. I just don't like dealing with it. So but yeah, so that's the LTZ interior swap, and now it doesn't run. So hopefully I'll get it figured out today sometime. But that's the update on that.